All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol GNUS, Genius Brands International Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, and to all my subscribers, welcome back. As I stated yesterday, Genius Brands was on the verge of hitting newer highs if it broke through this resistance level, and also due to the fact that earnings is coming up, Genius Brands was one to definitely consider and keep an eye on, do your due diligence and do your research. I also talked a little bit about some of the innovations that Genius Brands has been going through in the last couple of months, such as their app. They're also now on Samsung TVs, I believe, and they incorporated an app or something like that they're actually included now in these TVs so that kids can watch their show. And also their balance sheet is supposedly, according to what has been stated in the news and what they had stated in August, that they are now debt free and they can actually now focus on revenue. And after being in a very bearish trend, the lowest points reached was 95 cents, and it's been jumping up and down, leveling off. But now we're actually seeing a bullish run. And as it continues to break through resistance levels, this will see newer highs. And I believe that Genius Brands, and I don't usually say this in many of my videos, is going to continue this run closer towards earnings, and even after earnings, if earnings reports show positive news and that their net income is coming in, it's grown, their revenue has grown, and their profit margin is phenomenal, that's just going to attract more investors and now give investors some hope. A lot of people are disappointed that this ran up and stuff due to the hype and speculation, but there was nothing to deliver. Now Genius Brands actually has something to deliver. And also towards the end of the year, they said they're going to make their cartoon characters in the form of toys, and they're exposing themselves more, creating more exposure through different networks and different opportunities to then be known. And then also they're also able to make those toys. That's another form of marketing themselves and giving the opportunity to kids know more about them. And the more kids that watch them and the more parents that watch these shows for the kids, then they go ahead and create that opportunity of revenue, net income, and then again, the profit margin that Genius Brands is trying to attain. So there's some great outlook here if Genius Brands continues in this trajectory, but this could only last till earnings if earnings is not something that will attract investors. So earnings needs to be good, and they also have to show how they delivered this earnings and what else do they have planned to deliver the upcoming months and year to come. That's the one and most important thing about Genius Brands, so that this doesn't just collapse again like it did earlier in the year. I mean, the collapse was humongous to the point that all it was in a bearish run for almost about 4 to 5 months, and it had one more spike earlier in July, and then since then it's just been falling and falling. But now there's a slight recovery here, and the question is, how much higher could it go? That's why we're going to watch these charts, pay close attention to them, but also keep in mind that if this leads up to earnings, that's going to be a great run. If earnings is good, earnings will then show us a good sign. I mean, this was way back in August. They had started getting debt free. They launched their cartoon channel and so forth. And earnings that is coming up is going to make the difference for this stock and what to expect in the near future. And hopefully earnings is good, that they're actually showing in their balance sheets debt free, and they can focus on revenue and what's their innovation and what do they plan on delivering to tell investors, okay, come and invest with us, that there's a reason for your investment. So we'll see how this all plays out. But right now, let's go ahead and pay close attention to what's important for tomorrow, and also pay close attention to what happened in the chart. So the chart broke through resistance and it quickly leveled off back to 150. Now, something I'm noticing is that every time it runs up a little bit, it slightly falls. It runs up, it slightly falls. I believe that's just profit taking. Anyone that's been in this stock a little bit before and they're willing to get out, or it's just people running this wave right now and they're taking their slight profits because of the uncertainty of what's happened in the past. They're like, well, dang, it ran up this much, let's go ahead and get out now, you know? So it's all about the investors' mentality and how they're looking at this. But Genius Brands, as long as it continues to break these resistance levels, I believe it's going to hit newer highs. So the highest point that it reached today was 160. Super important number. If that gets broken through, this will see newer highs and newer resistance levels. It's at 150 right now, and its support level is down here at 148. I want to emphasize how important this support level is, because if this support level gets broken through, you're still in bullish territory, but it brings the bears closer to their goal, which is the 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average is 141. Another reason why the bulls don't want this support level to be broken through is because if this gets broken through, the bears are literally 7 cents away to breaking back into bearish territory. That's one of the main reasons. And once 141 is broken through, now you're in bearish territory, and the bears are going to focus on getting further away from the 50-day moving average in a downward direction. So that's super important to keep in mind and pay very close attention to it. If it breaks through the support level, and how quickly this is moving to newer lows, or are the bulls trying to reappear and stop it from getting into bearish territory and stay above bullish territory. So super important. I want to emphasize it to our investors, especially with the volatility of this stock itself. 148 is an important number to pay close attention to. Now, if you want to have another point of reference before it reaches the 50-day moving average, 142. That's the lowest point before this run and hitting the 160. So 142 is a great number to pay close attention to. It's the support level here at the bottom before this run happened and before it leveled off. So keep that in mind as well. Now, for the bulls, they need to break through this. It's not like they can hang out sideways and so forth, because this 50-day moving average is catching up fairly quickly to the price. And if they just hang out sideways, at some point it will cross it, and by default, this will end up in bearish territory. So it's super important that the bulls keep this in mind. They're going to want to break the resistance. The resistance level is 159. They need to turn that into a support, break away from it, and hit newer highs and newer resistance levels, so that they can start to move away from the 50-day moving average in an upward direction, getting deeper into bullish territory and further away from the 50-day moving average, again, moving in an upward direction. So this is super important for the bulls, and I want to emphasize that 159 does need to be broken through and turn into a support, so that the bulls can break away, hit newer highs and newer resistance levels. Now, it is super important as well that the bulls break through it and don't just hang out sideways again. They need to continue the momentum and move further away from the 50-day moving average, because this 50-day moving average is going to continue to move its way up to newer highs. It just continues to move up with it. So even if the bulls bring this up and then they start hanging out sideways, at some point they're going to intersect, and this is going to end up below it, and this is going to end up above it, giving the bears leverage. So for the bulls to continue this run, they need to continue to work their way up in an upward direction, like a rocket. Like when we say, oh, rockets, it's going up to the moon, or whatever it is that people use. Different investors say different things, but one of the main things is that this just needs to work its way up to newer highs and get further away from the 50-day moving average through that process. Because the moment that they break through resistance, it's not like they just accomplished it and that's it. They need to continue to work their way up, because the moment they're hanging out sideways, this will catch up to it, and that does not stop for anyone. So as always, I hope you found this video helpful and informative, and with these cues, you guys can be well equipped and ready for tomorrow's trading day. Hope you guys find the video helpful and informative. Share it with all your friends and community. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know you watched this video. And anyone that feels encouraged or inclined to subscribe, please do so. And don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money. Now, at the end of this video, I will be talking about the S&P 500 index, and I talk about the Federal Reserve, how it's pumping the markets, as well as what is the strategy I've been using and what the charts are showing. So on these scheduled dates, the S&P 500 is rising up several points, and I highly recommend watching the video, because tomorrow's the next one. And in this video, I talk about everything for tomorrow. So you'll have some research, or at least an opportunity to watch it with your own eyes and see for yourselves. But The S&P 500 rises up several points, and it's due to the Federal Reserve pumps. Now, if the S&P 500 is rising up several points, there are 500 ticker symbols within it rising with it. And most of these individual ticker symbols are rising up 30 cents to $3 per share. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but per share that does add up. And also, like I always say, profits are profits. If you're able to put $1 into the market and get back $2, you've done a great job. That's the way I look at it, because profits are profits. I highly recommend checking out the video. I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold. I'm just here to inform every single investor and viewer on the great news that there's an opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. Check it out. Hope you found that video helpful and informative. And thank you guys again so much for watching. And let's make some money.